Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Thursday, May 9th, 2019. Another story I just love to comment on. I'm going to try and keep it short because I'm going to get on a libertarian rant here. Facebook co-founder says Zuckerberg not accountable. Calls for government breakup. Chris Hughes, who started Facebook with Zuckerberg, joins a growing chorus of privacy advocates and politicians who have called for antitrust action. Interesting, very interesting. And there's a lot of different ways to look at this, folks, but I'm going to give you a different viewpoint, and some of you may not like it. I'm going to read, I read the whole story here, but there's one paragraph. There it is. But Hughes said there's one power that Zuckerberg won't exercise. He says, I don't think that Mark Zuckerberg can fix Facebook, Hughes said. I think only government can, by making the market more competitive, by breaking it up, and by creating these privacy restrictions. Okay, there's a lot in this right here that I need to comment on, a ton, and it's a small section, but this flies in the face of free markets. What Hughes is actually asking for is the government to step in and regulate social media. So what does that do? Well, that grows the government, first off, because we'll have a new department, I'm sure, under the executive branch, a new cabinet level, be Secretary of Social Media, something like that, with a massive amount of underlings, just like the Treasury Department or the IRS or the Department of Education. I could go on and on. And probably needing, at least another 70,000 employees on the federal government level that all need to feed their families. And then on top of which, not only will we have that, but we'll have new restrictions that will be literally imposed on the American people and indeed on corporations that take away freedoms and rights and liberties. Is that what we want? Is that truly what we want? I don't think so. I mean, I think we want smaller government. At least that's what I want. I want smaller, less powerful government and more freedom or more liberty for the people. That's what I think we should have. Now, Hughes apparently doesn't think that. And I understand Mark Zuckerberg, Jacob Greenberg, whatever name he goes by these days. I understand he lied to Congress, and he got away with it. He should have been charged with obstruction of justice and perjury, but he didn't. That's proof of corporatism, fascism. That's proof. Now, there is absolutely no way anyone can dance around that subject and come up with any other explanation than corporatism. The government let him do whatever he wants. They let him self-regulate, and that's okay. That's okay. Lying to Congress is not okay. If you and I lie to Congress, we get perjury, and then we get about 10 years or something like that. I think it's 10 years for lying to Congress. But big business people, really rich people, get to lie as much as they want to Congress because that's what crony capitalism and fascism is all about. Because they don't ever get prosecuted for anything. That's kind of like the unwritten contract. When you start making $1 billion or you're worth $1 billion, you start to be able to play by a different set of rules. You get in the club. You get your club membership in there. So we know what Sugar Mountain is all about. Jacob Greenberg has been doing this a long time, and believe me, he knows what he's doing. And he is selling data. That's a fact. I mean, it's been proven. It's a done deal. It's history. He has sold and continues to sell data. So what can you do? What can I do? What is the best course of action? The best course of action is letting a free market decide. So that's first and foremost. So what do? You literally call up your representatives and your senators and say, do nothing. Literally let the people decide. If you're unhappy with Facebook, leave Facebook. There's plenty of other social platforms out there. Leave Facebook. And that hurts Jacob Greenberg's pocketbook, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever name he goes by. But that hurts his pocketbook. So that's how you decide in a free market. You get to pick the winners and the losers in a free market. You and I. And in a corporatist, fascist, crony capitalist environment, the government picks the winners and losers. So that's the lesson on this particular story is, do we want bigger government bigger government that can actually come in and literally do antitrust actions, privacy concerns, and set up all kinds of regulations and red tape for these businesses that have social media platforms? Should we be asking government to come in and regulate this? The answer is no. We need to move to another platform. Now, total disclosure here, Timmy Chonga, my dog's name is Timmy Chonga. Wild coincidence that it happens to rhyme with chimichanga, just a coincidence. But Timmy Chonga does have a Facebook page. Do I have a Facebook page? Nope, sure don't. Timmy Chonga is on there though, and Timmy Chonga doesn't put any personal information about himself out there, ever, ever. Not even in the account that was set up, and even had an issue with that because for about 6 months, my wife and I could not get on the Facebook page because we wouldn't provide a telephone number. They eventually just let us back in again, but a telephone number was not provided. It's a bunch of bogus data under Timmy's bio. So there's nothing personal on it. I just set up a junk account on Facebook and I promote my YouTube videos in libertarian groups on Facebook. That's all it's used for. So I'm using it, but people who put their entire lives in there, not just in their posts, but also in their bio, I think are probably pretty stupid. I don't mean to say they're stupid. They're very gullible. Of course Mark Zuckerberg is going to share your data. Of course he's going to sell it. That's the only product Facebook has is its users. That's the only product they have. So they're selling the users to the advertisers and to MI5 or MI6. There's no telling because they went to England. A lot of Facebook data went to England to a corporation that was tied into Secret Service in England. So I don't know what they're doing, creating databases out there or whatever. But it's a simple message, gang. And I realize that a lot of people might say, hey, TC, I get what you're saying, but what about 2008? If we regulated the banks, that never would have happened. Well, that's partially right. You've got a good argument. But I will tell you that if 2008 happened because of lack of regulation, no regulation, then they wouldn't have been bailed out either. So then those banks would fall away, new banks would come up and take their place, and things would just go along, after a little bit of pain, but it would have been over with. If the government didn't bail out the banks, we wouldn't be in the economic situation we're in right now, heading towards, or should I say, careening towards another collapse. Government regulation, government bailout, government picking winners and losers, as opposed to the free market actually being allowed to exist, to breathe, just to breathe. It's being smothered. It doesn't exist anymore. The free markets don't exist anymore. Why? Because government comes in and regulates everything. They tax everything. They make rules and regulations on everything. They control everything. So there's no free market. So what is the difference? Well, I can tell you what the difference is, because if we had free markets, a lot of people would be a lot smarter. Customers would be much smarter about the businesses they chose to do business with. Investors would be more intelligent about who they choose to invest in, and corporations and businesses would be more. They would just be more. They would treat their customers better. Let's put it that way. But if there's always a possibility of being out or regulated in favor of all the time, they don't have to care about their customers anymore. Holy crap, the government is taking care of them. So that's my message on this particular story, and it's an important story. I would like to say thank you to Drifter for bringing this story to my attention. But it is an important story, and it actually talks about the kinds of things we talk in Truth, Money, and Freedom all about, which is literally freedom, liberty. I mean, just breathe in some liberty once in a while. Let's tell the government, that's all right, we don't need you. And we don't. We really don't need them. It's a false sense of security to rely on government for anything. Believe me, when this next downturn hits, the government is not going to help you with your house payment. The government is not going to help you with your car payment. Don't ask for their help on anything, because they're not going to help you when you truly need it anyway. What they're going to do is they're going to take that call for help and go, of course we care about you. You're the citizenry. Of course we care about you. Let us come in and regulate these businesses. And when they do, they start regulating you. through those businesses. They start regulating the choices you make. They start regulating basically the way you even look at the markets get changed. So let's advocate for a free market. Let's do that. Let's choose that option and go forward and actually do the best we can with a free market system. And let's get government out of business. Let's get government out of our personal lives. You know, let's work towards that. That is a lofty aspiration. That's a good goal. And the more people who have that goal, the less people participate in government, and that includes voting, folks, and we'll do another podcast on that one too. The less government is needed. So, you know, it's time to tell government we just don't need you guys. You guys are too intrusive, you're too painful, you're taking too much of our money, you're putting us in the poorhouse, you keep spending money on projects we don't ask for, you keep giving money to your buddies and then charging us in taxes to pay for it. They're just not worth it anymore. And that's what this story represents, is more of the same. So that's my message on this story. And I need to wrap it up here. I got to get some stuff done. But thank you very much for listening to Truth, Money, and Freedom. I want to just personally thank you all for the likes, the shares, the comments that you put in there. I try to answer all of them as you guys see. And once again, just thank you for being here, and thank you for helping promote a message of liberty. For those of you who are in the U.S., you're my brethren. I'm right here in Missouri, and those of you in the, in Europe or Australia, we've got listeners in Canada, in the U.K. Thank you all for also paying attention, to what we have to say about truth, money, and freedom here, because we know your experience is different. But let us help you, and let you help us. Better ideas, more ideas, throw them in the comments section. I would love to read it. Let's all help each other out. We're all on this planet together, spinning around, the sun, and we all need to figure out a way to make everything work and for people to be as free as possible. So we can work this together. Thanks again, gang. Have a wonderful day. God bless you all.